Welcome to Source Not Found, a podcast about the worst versions of your favorite things. Every other week, we take an IP, franchise, or fandom and examine it solely through its sequels, side projects, or spin-offs. Basically, anything except for the source material. My name is Bo Woodall, and I am the buckles on Christian Slater's weird-ass anachronistic coat.
And I'm Brandon June, and I'm just here to tell you that these readings are off the scale. No. Seriously, our scales don't go that high. The readings are off it. They're really high. So high, in fact, they went off the scale.
Guys, this month, we are tackling Alone in the Dark, the classic video game franchise that basically paved the way for Resident Evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about the good shit this month. No. This month, we're revisiting a podcast favorite?
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. We can't call him that because I don't want to be his friend, dude. I'm sorry. I really don't.
We've seen enough to know.
No.
Uwe Boll is back and better than ever. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm going to say that. I preferred this to Blood Rain.
You're wrong.
What? Okay.
Sorry.
We'll get into it.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Uwe Boll's version of Alone in the Dark from the year of our Lord 2005.
And we're doing this all month long, so in celebration of the game coming out, the reboot, the relaunch of this wonderful franchise. I mean, it is wonderful. I've gone through now, played through the first three games, the original three games in their entirety. Half of New Nightmare, had an issue with my second disc not working, so...
Womp womp.
Yeah, we're still working on that. And yeah, the new game. So as of recording today, I'm done.
Guess what? The whole thing. I have no experience with this series.
Yeah, so I'll just try and shepherd us. Thankfully, you don't need too much for this one.
No,
but, I can, for my just my opinion, that series deserves all of the praise it gets.
Really,
it truly is an originator. I was so impressed. I think maybe we'll save most of the game discussion for the game episode.
Agreed.
But
speaking of which, we are going to cover the remake of the game. That is right. What you will be seeing next episode.
Next week. Yeah.
Because it's only fair. But this week we're covering this fucking movie. Okay, before we do it, the whole thing, I have to say, you have been so mad at me for bringing certain things to the table.
I haven't been mad. I've just maybe gone to bed cursing you a little bit for when I realize it's a finite span of time I'm on this planet and how many hours now have been devoted to any number of...
Well, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Yeah.
Just disappointed in your choices.
Yeah. You should take all that shit back because this was your idea and I went to bed. I think at one point I left my house because my wife was asleep. I left my house and screamed outside to the neighborhood, "What the fuck am I doing to myself?" And then came back inside to finish the film.
Only way to watch it.
This was The Christmas Prince. It very much was.
It doesn't sound like it because I didn't have any visceral reaction to Christmas. Christmas Prince was like a morphine drip. I just drifted away.
God,
I didn't have any energy to summon a holler.
I wish. God, I wish this was a morphine drip.
That's weird. I expected you to have a little bit more fun with this one. I had more fun than I expected.
I cannot wait to find out why.
I laughed more in the first 10 minutes of this movie than I did through all of Blood Rain and Christmas Prince combined, I would wager. Yeah. It was dumb enough that Blood Rain was just so flat. It was nothing. This actually had something to,
I laughed.
Some goofs.
I think 3 times.
Okay, I can't wait to find out when and why.
Yeah. Do you want to hear them now or do we want to go into the movie?
There's there's no deep dive on the story on this one. I figured just sort of go through it and what jumped out to you. What do you want to talk about?
Would you like to give the briefest of
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll try.
like I want. Do you want me to do it? Do you want to do it? Like a full
No,
like
I'm down.
I'm talking 5 to 7 sentence synopsis of what you got from this film.
Well, speaking now as someone who has experience with the game franchise, seems like they were sourcing New Nightmare for this one. You have Edward Carnby. He is the protagonist every time, every game. In the first game, and then in New Nightmare, and then also in the remake. You have another female protagonist in the original, Emily Hartwood, I think is her last name, Hartwood. And then in New Nightmare, Aline Cedric. So, Aline in this movie. So that's where we're pulling from, and that game deals with a lot of the Abkhanis civilization. So they're pulling that right out of there, and like the monsters, sort of, and like the sort of light mechanic. Anyway, that's the Alone in the Dark we're dealing with. But what is this movie about? Well, we have a 1.5 minute long opening crawl to sort of set us up with a lot of background. In that opening scroll of information, we cover ancient civilizations, secret government organizations, dark otherworld creatures, savage experiments on orphan children inside an abandoned gold mine, and Lionel Hudgens. Our villain is Lionel Hudgens.
Is he?
I don't know. Yes? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's the villain. Other than the monsters.
Man, I don't fucking know. Like, just based on the intro crawl, I thought Lionel Hudgens was dead.
Isn't Lionel Hudgens the professor?
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. No, but based on the opening crawl of him being a weird Island of Dr. Moreau type figure, I assumed he was next level dead. Like, because this opening crawl takes like 20,000 years into perspective.
Yeah, so we've got Lionel Hudgens. He was working in the abandoned gold mine beneath the orphanage run by nuns. He had 20 children that he experimented on in an attempt to merge these ancient creatures that are tied to the Abkhanis, a Native American civilization that sort of had gateways into like these other worlds of darkness. He implanted basically like centipede worm creatures that like tethered themselves or like tied themselves into all these children's spines. Edward, I still don't know why. He continually flashes back to a scene when he ran out to like an electrical shed that was like marked high voltage, and that's when he got electrocuted. That like fucked up the creature inside of him, so he's the one out of the 20 that cannot be controlled like the others. The others can be controlled and are like sort of prey to the creature inside them, and at some point go like zombie status. And so now he used to work for organization, do I have this right? 713. I kept mixing it up because there's 731, which is like that evil Japanese experimentation outpost during World War II where they did horrific.
Right. Yeah, no, this is 713.
713. I think it's a play on that.
I think it is too.
They flipped the last two numbers. So he used to work for that paranormal investigative unit / commando unit. I don't know. They mostly just shoot shit. I don't know that they did too much investigating that I saw. But he quit that because he's a loose cannon paranormal investigator. He walks around in a duster and he's
not
cool. Cool for that.
No. This is the first time I'm interrupting you, despite the fact that I wanted to interrupt several times. That is not a fucking duster. That is
what do you call that thing?
No, that is a clearance rack Renaissance festival coat.
Okay.
It has no buttons, no zippers. It has 3 buckles, and each buckle on the right-hand side of the coat are 2 feet apart from one another. One of the buckles is below his goddamn kneecap. That is the worst coat design I've ever... Man, it is the first thing I noticed was the fact that he is wearing the dumbest fucking costuming I've ever seen in a modern day film.
They're going for like cool, like, sort of counterculture Gen X, right? But he's still like he's his own guy, like PI sort of, but really he just looks like a kid that is playing dress up with his dad's clearance rack bullshit out of the closet, right? Everything is ill-fitting. He looks like a child.
He is wearing a tight black tank top underneath a brown leather Ren Fair coat. There is nothing.
He thinks it's a duster. He wears it like it is.
He thinks he looks cool as shit. And maybe that's the electricity that ran through his brain as a 9-year-old or whatever. But he does not look cool as shit. He looks like, I think we've talked about this before. He looks like a grown man who still buys mall swords.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Except with a Christian Slater face, so he's beautiful. But like...
Yeah. I mean, Edward Carnby, he contains multitudes. He's always different. The original game, he kind of looks like Nigel Thornberry.
I would love that.
Yeah. Then he's got like... He goes clean shaven in the sequel, I think. In the third one, they're like doing a West thing. He's got like a pencil mustache, and he's more like hamming it up with like noirness. New Nightmare, it's like peak like 2001. It's a 2001 game, I'm pretty sure. Long hair, jacket, just like sort of like Chris Angel,
close to Christian
vibes.
Slater. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you do have Christian. I mean, it's the appearance of Christian Slater. I don't know that he's really doing anything. Like, what is his character here? I don't really know what he's going for. Every once in a while, like it's just so flat. Every once in a while, it kind of sounds like he's doing like a Jack Nicholson impression, but it's like Christian Slater doing Nicholson, or it's like actually more like someone doing an impression of Slater doing an impression of Jack Nicholson.
That's what I was going to say. I thought it was like a weird face-off thing. Like where Nick
and no
Cage,
one's like interested in the impression they're doing.
Where Nick Cage is pretending to be John Travolta, who is pretending to be Nick Cage. Christian Slater is pretending to be Christian Slater, pretending to be Christian Slater. And that's where we get Edward Carnby.
Sure. Anyway, it's not much of anything. He's investigating. Then you got Tara Reid playing Aline Cedric. She's a sort of archaeologist.
Assistant curator. No, she's just assistant curator. Yeah. So my understanding is that the entire film revolves around the fact that people search for Abkhani artifacts because they are made of gold and gems and they're priceless, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Hudgens is looking for Abkhani artifacts because he wants to open the gateway to the dark world and resummon all of these monsters and control them, basically, right?
Yeah.
Carnby, Christian Slater, and even Cedric, they are hunting down Abkhani artifacts because of scientific curiosity mixed with a little bit of paranormal apocalyptic prevention. But he's also doing it based on his own like prior experiences, not based on like sheer curiosity for the history of things, right? Like he's trying to understand his own shit as opposed to understand the Abkhani in general, which Tara Reid is trying to do. We're going to talk about that very soon, my man, because holy shit. But so you've got all that happening. You've got the current Agency 713 led by Steven Dorff, which he was a welcome fucking sight, dude.
He was something, right? Yeah, he was acting.
He was doing the best. He was doing the best damn job in this entire film with the script he had. I was very impressed by him. But Burke, Steven Dorff, and the modern day Agency or Department 713 is also tracking down Abkhani artifacts and basically just trying to lock down any monsters they can come in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the entire film. Is 713, modern day 713, Burke, Carnby, and Cedric want to prevent the dark world from opening and causing another giant cataclysm in the world of the light versus the world of the dark, where Hudgens wants to open the world of the dark to control the creatures from that world and bring about an apocalypse where he is effectively a god king.
Right. And it seems like his experiments on children were just sort of the first steps towards controlling, because these creatures came out of where did they come from? Because the gate hadn't been opened.
That's a very good question, and one that I was very frustrated about toward the end of the film, because all of a sudden,
one of many,
he had hundreds of these fuckers.
Yeah, I don't know where they came from.
He only had 19 kids, and those 19 kids got shot a whole bunch, and they were next level dead.
Okay. I was confused through so much of this movie, and I didn't know how much of it was like, am I missing something? Am I dumb? Am I the dumb guy here? Or no, just movie dumb? I think movie dumb. Okay. So that's the setup. Now, we start with, it's like that frantic, blurry, sort of like hyper saturated, like rapid flashbacks of like scenes of youth,
Uwe Boll
scenes, and then Christian Slater awakes on the plane and he's landing, and as he's like walking out of the airport, you get like sort of like a noir style like voiceover narration, like I'm a PI and this is my deal, and he's like addressing us as the audience directly.
Yeah, but
there's like no life to it, and also like it just doesn't really ever happen again. It happens like one other time where he's doing voiceover narration. That's it.
3.
Is it 3? Okay.
I was so tired of the voiceover by the time this movie was done.
It's a long bit of voiceover there, a long bit of narration, and then like after a full minute, he finally is like, and my name is Edward Carnby, and I'm here to protect you from the things you don't believe. I don't even know what other information he imparted during that, because like I just kind of like, I guess I did have a bit of the morphine drip going on. Like my eyes would just glaze over, like it's so many words and nothing of substance. Just so many like darkness and forces of light and gateways and
when he said that whole I'm Edward Carnby and I'm whatever, the first thought that hit my mind was, I bet you're wondering how I got into this crazy situation. And then like the record scratch. And I was like, God damn it. Really? That's not what we need in what is supposed to be an action horror thriller. Man.
They fly now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the one thing that did stand out that I was puzzling over for the entirety of this movie. He says he lost his memory when he was 10.
Yes.
In that first bit of narration. No, he didn't.
I thought he did. I thought he lost all memory.
What memory did he lose?
The memory before he got electrocuted.
What happened after he got electrocuted?
He was brought back to the orphanage with the other 19. And then was raised with them until they got into whatever homes they got sent to. So he didn't remember any interaction with Department 713. It was my guess.
You mean like his experiments, right?
Yeah.
He didn't remember being experimented on, but neither did the others.
Did they?
I don't know.
I
don't
either.
Normal lives. It's until they were like activated. I just mean like every time like when he's first told about the disappearance of, I think it's Joe.
Yeah.
He remembers everything perfectly. And every time like his like memories, like formative experiences come up, he seems to have like a good understanding of where he came from and who everybody is and what happened in his life. So like
I just assumed that they used the electrical box that he hid in as kind of a plot device to show that was when he lost not only his memory before that moment, but also the symbiosis with the dark world worm thing.
Yeah, I just like...
But no, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
at all.
I got it. I got what they were telling me, but like then he kept like remembering so many things about his childhood, and maybe all that stuff happened after he got electrocuted, but it seemed like it didn't. And then like no one was going to remember that stuff anyway, and then he had the fragments of memories about it anyway. I don't know, just I'm thinking on it too long, probably.
Thought more about it than the script writers or Uwe Boll did, probably.
He got electrocuted, and that's why he's free. He can't be controlled. He's his own man. So pretty soon after that, we've got like an immediate taxi cab car chase.
The slowest, lamest car chase that I've ever seen. And
okay, but it ends,
the immediate fight sequence thereafter with who we find out is Pinkerton, the bald bad guy.
The bad guy with the newly divorced dad goatee.
Yeah, it is. That entire first scene, the chase sequence, the crash, all of it is weird and dog shit and confusing. All you know is Carnby has an Abconny artifact and he's trying to keep it safe, and Pinkerton, goatee man, is coming after him. And they fight and run through all these different areas.
Brawling an ice conveyor belt.
My frustration is this. Pinkerton gets shot 3 times in the chest.
Yeah, without even like getting knocked back. Just like
takes it. And then Carnby suplexes him off the ice conveyor belt onto a single spike that goes into the same place he was shot, and that kills him.
Right.
What why though?
I didn't have time to question. I was too focused on when Carnby shot. The camera zoomed into the barrel, like down the barrel of his gun, so we could watch the bullet enter the chamber and explode out. And then we're propelled out and follow the bullet as everything goes bullet time. And then we just smack right into his chest. It was so ridiculous. I couldn't help but laugh at that.
That was right after the moment where I knew I was in for trouble.
Yeah.
Because right before that, Pinkerton is on top of Carnby and is shoving his head into the ground several times.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 inches between Carnby's head and the ground every time he's supposed to make contact.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
4 inches, like almost a half a foot. Like, it is so egregiously poorly shot.
There's a lot of that, and a lot of people reacting to things they're not supposed to be reacting to yet.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good ones. There's that. Is that when Carnby's like on the ground and he just like does like a backflip from like a...
Yes, he does.
A lying position and just like kicks Pinkerton back. The way I took it, at first I was with you, like, wait, why did that kill him? But I guess that severed the creature. The bullet just didn't. It probably just grazed it or just missed it by a little bit. But that seemed to sever it, right?
But
that's what did it.
It wasn't in the center of his body where his spine is, where the creature is. It pierced him in the heart where the creature is not.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a metaphor. So anyway, if we go from there.
It's allegorical.
And, I do love, okay, we do meet, this is where we meet Aline, right? Because, like, we've got a guy delivering the artifact to where she's cataloging stuff on Hudgens' behalf. And this is another moment that got me chuckling because you've got, like, the most stilted, like, awkward, just, this is exposition of, like, delivery guy asking security guard who is there for whatever reason, just always, like, hovering around. All of these things about, like, what's inside and what they're doing, and then like the guard like relaying all this information that's for us the audience, but the opening crawl already like
did all that,
told us all this. But it's just made even better by the fact that like the delivery guy and the security guard are like the same guy.
Yeah.
Same body, same facial hair. It's just
anyway, with that little precursor to Trivia Corner later, they are also both in episodes of Psych.
Okay.
Which was, I think, like the next year, 2 years later. Just fun. Yeah,
it's fun. So then we got Hudgens on the boat.
Well, wait, real fast. The only thing I have, something? I do. I have something written down for that scene, and it's just Tara Reid plus glasses plus bun equals smart.
Yes, she's very smart. You know she's smart because later on, when she's pulling up information, it's like maybe the scene after this next one, cuts back to her and she's like checking where all the artifacts have been found because they're like spread across the globe, and she pronounces it Newfoundland.
Yeah.
One of them was found in Newfoundland. So we got that. We also have, that's another scene where like the security guard is just there. Like just he always like every time he's in a scene, he just always like lingers for a little too long and a little too close and is like licking his lips.
He's a creepy dude.
Like, oh,
he's a creepy dude.
So yeah, we got Hudgens on the boat. They find the artifact. The Abkhanis were like the first civilization, the only civilization to put all of their valuables in gold. Like the gold is not the valuable, it's what's inside the gold. He's betrayed by the boat captain. They want it. They try and double cross him, and they get taken out by the evil force. They open the Ark. They got their face melted. Indiana Jones, Nazi style. Not really. They didn't get. There's just a lot of blood.
Yeah.
We don't really know what happens to them. Just a bloody boat.
It's fine.
Yeah, he survives.
And by he, you mean Hudgens. Nobody else survives. It's just Hudgens.
Yeah, he's just Hudgens. So it's like, yeah, I guess, right, Carnby is back talking to Aline. He's back. She's mad. Well, you didn't tell me you were alive. You were gone for 3 months. It's like all the cliches of the romantic sort of like partnership. We're like after the same goal, but there's something more, but really there is nothing more. There's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, they dated for like 6 months or something like that. Somebody mentioned it before that. It's
and then creatures are here.
Yeah, it's fucking dog shit. This whole thing. Creatures show up at the museum, kill the security guard, chase down Cedric and Edward. And then Burke shows up with Department 713.
Pissing contest between Carnby and Burke.
Of course,
right?
Carnby.
There's history. Carnby used to work for them. He left. There's, bad blood. This is where we find out that Carnby also has one, right? The scanner reveals that they're doing like the autopsy on Pinkerton.
Yeah.
That's when we find out it was severed. That's what did it.
Fish.
Severed the creature.
Fisher.
Fused to a spinal cord.
The Fisher, the forensic
You're on
specialist.
It.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody. The only reason I remember Carnby and Aline is they were in the game.
Yeah. Fisher's the specialist through 713 who does all of their forensics. And he's the guy who uses the scanner, and then later fucking Hudgens shows up and shoves a symbiote down his throat. After killing his wife. Yeah.
And that's where the like, if you can you raw dog a syringe? Because that's what Hudgens does, because Jesus Christ, he like is injecting himself. He just jams that sucker like right in the middle of his forearm.
Man,
no like
bad.
finding a vein, no alcohol, nothing, just jam right in there. Ooh, God, it was rough. Anyway, that's how you do it when you're working with the dark forces. Caution thrown to the wind. This is like where light comes into play. This is where it was sort of a connection to the game, and some of the creatures, like they do vaguely resemble some of the creatures from that fourth game, but they look bad. In fact, it's pretty amazing that they look worse than the game, which was on the PlayStation 1.
Sounds about
PlayStation
right.
1,
Yeah.
Sega Dreamcast, yeah. That's a feat. They look like shit. Cedric and Carnby, they blast their way out with a lot of like him yelling, get down, come on, but get down, but come on. Just a lot of that.
Yeah.
Then we get like an awesome like butt rock music video of all like the 713 commandos just blasting.
It's
always like
it's machine gun fire for 5 minutes straight, and then nothing happens.
It really is. It's like 5 minutes. It feels like.
Another
Very
moment
abrupt.
where a Uwe Boll movie had to make me pause it and walk away so I didn't have a goddamn seizure.
It's like they always have shot of muzzle flashes, right? Just sort of aimed towards the camera, and then like other side. Now we're looking at monster. There's never like monster engaging with humans to a great degree. So it's like separate shot of that because the monsters look like absolute dog shit. It's like they never want to go for having too much interactivity between the humans and the monsters because they didn't want to opt for like any practical effects. Really, there's almost none.
I was gonna say, like, you either see a monster by itself, a human by itself, or the aftermath of what the monster does to the human.
Yeah. There are some weird cutaway shots where they try and get around it, and it's noticeable. Then it suddenly becomes like a zombie movie. Just like all of a sudden, now it's zombies.
No, it doesn't. It becomes a zombie scene for just the 5 minutes of machine gun fire.
Well,
Because they are never
like...
fucking seen again, Brandon.
I know. It's like we're dealing with these monsters. All of a sudden, it's just, no, now we got human zombies. Like, runner zombies, and that's the threat, and they're everywhere, and then they're just gone. I mean, they get them all.
Well, because they only had 19 of the fuckers. They were just the 19 orphans that, like, Christian Slater wanted to save. They're all zombies. They all get shot dead real quick, and then we move the fuck on. It's so stupid. I'm sorry.
It's a pivotal moment. It's a character growth moment because Carnby saves Burke with a shot. He's about to get torn apart. And then from then on, they're buds.
Hey, listeners, I'm not sure if you missed Super Angry Frustrated Bo. He's back, baby. This movie is dog turd.
Oh, it's bad.
Yes. Yeah. Even though Christian Slater saves Burke's ass and all that stuff, Burke is still a giant pain in the ass for the most part until the last sequence, which thank God we're getting to now so we can talk about all the bullshit in the movie.
Okay. Because that's all there is to talk about for a while, because we mentioned it is like 5 minutes of buttrock machine guns, but then that's not the end of it. That's just the end of the buttrock, like, music video portion. Yeah. It continues. It felt like half an hour of just shooting monsters.
Then they go to the gold mine, where there is a off the charts record of Xenos, which is what they call the monsters, who they think are aliens, but I don't think they're actually aliens. They're from the Dark World, which is, I think, parallel. Who fucking cares?
Yeah. It feels like they're trying to do, like, I mean, Aliens the movie, right? Because they're cutting. So they got like Carnby and Burke and Aline, and they're on their little journey down deep into the earth, and then it keeps cutting back to like the commandos, and they're being, taken out one by one by these creatures.
And they are very similar to xenomorphs from Ridley Scott's Alien and Aliens and Alien 3 and all that jazz. Like they have like a carapace, they have a sharp tail that will straight up murder you.
Mm-hmm.
Uwe Boll, hey, make something new.
Yeah. It's like someone went to a visual artist and like, okay, I want a xenomorph, but like get it just far enough, like get just enough distance where we're not going to get sued, and I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, don't copy my homework. Just change a couple of words. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So this is like the one that really sticks out to me. You got like the one final dude on the team, the 713, right? And he's like going through, seeing all of the dead bodies of his fallen comrades.
Do you remember him? He was in Blood Rain.
No.
He was Ben Kingsley's main bootlicker.
Okay. No. Do you?
I don't have the actor's name. I just know for a fact that was Ben Kingsley's main henchman with the weird soul patch thing. Okay. I guess he's just a Uwe Boll.
Well, that's why I didn't.
Constant.
He's got a smooth, clean-shaven chin. How could I have ever?
How could we have guessed?
Made the connection. Yeah. He sees like his other fallen, like she's got like her head split open, right? It's pretty gory. Anyway, it does the thing. It's like the cliched thing where he comes upon the corpse and it's like kind of a semi close-up, mid-like close-up shot of him looking horrified, and then the descending down behind him of the very xenomorph-looking tail, right?
Yep.
You can see it as the viewer. He doesn't see it. He turns around. There it is, right? Then they do the cutaway to the external shot of the building. And usually when you have that cliche, it's very common. You get like the scream, some sort of like signifying like it got him. We're cutting away. We're going to leave this to your imagination. But you as the viewer know what's going on because of like what you had just seen and then the sort of reinforcement auditorially.
The implication.
But then it cuts immediately back with like not even a second. And he's just like dropping down to his knees with like, I don't know, blood spurting out of his neck or whatever.
Yeah, red water on the camera. He does
baffling choice.
He does that a lot.
They cut away and they cut right back.
If it's a really violent death, you'll get blood splatter on the camera. And I'm sorry, fuck off.
Yeah, it's like they're not cutting away because they don't want to show the gore. They love showing the gore. They show more gore than they need to at every available opportunity. It's like they just didn't want to go to the trouble of having like a physical modeled, actual existing monster tail interact with a human being.
Agreed.
That's it. That's the reason.
It's absolute horseshit.
It's so weird. It's very jarring. It's shit. it's such shit. Okay. We get the showdown, right? They're down at the gate. This is the gate to the Dark World. They've got the artifact. It's actually, they don't realize it, but they can't even open the gate. They're thinking about doing it. Hudgens shows up. He actually
has the last piece.
Yeah, he is the piece that needs to be inserted into it. So it was no good anyway. But there are two great examples of people reacting to things they're not supposed to be reacting to yet, back to back. So you've got Hudgens burst in. He's got like a machine gun in hand. He's like, get away from the door. And then it cuts to Carnby, and he immediately pulls out his gun, but not offensively, gently and like down below the waist as he's like already dropping it down to the floor before Hudgens even tells them to drop their weapons.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's like the most knee-jerk reaction, like, I'm going to immediately surrender. And like, for a second, I'm like, is Carnby just that? Is that part of his character? He's rolling over? Or like, do we just have Christian Slater reacting to the thing he's not supposed to be reacting to yet? Or like, we've accidentally edited in the shot that's supposed to come like another second after
that was
this.
my thought. Yeah.
Right. There's that. There's a showdown, whatever. They get the upper hand. It's Hudgens opens the door. I'm speeding through it because when he opens the door, Burke pulls out his combat knife and throws it through the air, and you see it cuts back to Hudgens, and you see him grasping his chest in a grimace, reacting to the knife that is not even inside him yet.
Yep.
As the knife jams into his chest. It's so funny. It's just,
I also found
no one gave a shit. No one gave a shit.
I found it was funny that with all of Hudgens' like scientific research and stuff, like he had created dudes that can take like 3 or 4 bullets to the chest, and he gets taken out by a fucking Bowie knife.
Yeah. So the door is opened into like this subterranean cavern that is pulsing with tens of thousands of monsters by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's that was actually like, that was the only time I felt like there was some interesting shit going on. Like that looked intimidating. Like that was the only good special effects I think I saw in the entire film, was like the weird kind of insectoid crawling on these columns that all of the Xenos were doing. I was like, yeah, that would scare the fuck out of me too. Cool.
So they leave a bomb, shut the door, run off, are about to escape through a ladder that leads up through the storm cellar doors outside of the orphanage. Then they realize they can't deploy the detonator because the signal is too weak, so Burke says he sacrifices himself, says, y'all run along, I'm going to take care of this, runs back, manually puts in the code, gives himself like 5 seconds or so to escape. He dives away from the ensuing explosion, which seems to take out everything down below, sends a huge fireball through all the tunnels, all through the underground, blows out through the top into the upper world as like Carnby and Aline jump out. Immediately we cut back to Burke, who seems to be pulling himself out of the exploded wreckage and like dusting himself off.
But we are never seeing him again. That was one of my questions I had for you. Because Stephen Dorff is the best part of this film. Yeah. For me. Burke is not a super interesting character, but Stephen Dorff is acting his ass off with what he is given.
He's earning that paycheck.
The fact that he dives after he dives right before the explosion and then turns over and coughs a couple of times, and then we never see him again.
Right.
Is the biggest case of plot blue balls I have ever had.
It makes no sense because it's like, okay, was it a bomb or wasn't it? Like, did it have any meaning? Because like, it's either strong enough to explode that gateway or not, but it's going to kill him if it is, right? He dives like 7 feet away from the bomb. Yeah. He doesn't make it very far.
He sets the timer. Okay. He sets the timer for 5 seconds.
It doesn't matter anyway. So he seems to survive, but it cuts away from him. You keep expecting him to like come up the ladder and join them up above. He never does. You never see him again. It's fine because you only have like 90 seconds to go. You're almost there. Just almost there. And then it's just Carnby and Aline walking through the streets of an empty, totally desolate metropolis in the laziest attempt. So the way they communicate that society has collapsed and everyone's gone is they have, I think I counted two separate vehicles stalled out, just like parked in the middle of intersections with like a door open.
Yep.
There's no wreckage. There are no wrecks. It's just everything's still.
The rest of the cars are perfectly parallel parked where they should be. Yeah.
You just got two vehicles parked out of place and they left a door open. And that society has collapsed. And then you hear the roar of monsters. You're like, it's like a helicopter shot panning over these buildings. And then it's like the Evil Dead ending of like zooming in on, you know, from monsters' perspective, zooming in our protagonists. And they turn around and cut to credits.
So, okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions about this ending.
Mm-hmm.
One, why the abandoned city?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
I
cool.
was going to ask you.
I have some ideas, but I don't have any that are good.
My thought was the monsters killed everybody, right?
How? They didn't get out. Like,
But they did. They're out, right?
we don't know that. Because HUD,
What's chasing? What's the camera? Like the camera's the perspective of a monster.
and
chasing
therein
them down
comes
the
not
street at
only
the end.
my second question, but also my second point. It can't be one of the monsters. That Uwe Boll camera pan to Christian Slater and his surprise face and Tara Reid's dumb face.
Yeah,
It can't be a monster. The monsters are allergic to daylight. It kills them.
that's right. That's right. What is it? Did they miss a zombie? The zombies can go out. Maybe they missed a zombie.
Then why is it so fast? The zombies were just shitty people.
Yeah, but like, where is everybody? Because like everybody's gone, but there's no damage to anything.
So
We're supposed to believe the apocalypse.
There is like
happened.
there's a weird ticker that comes up on the screen that says city evacuation or something, town evacuation or something like that. But
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I missed that.
But why? But why did it happen though? Because
yeah,
it was a
forgot that was it.
paranormal government investigation group, and they killed everything, and it's daylight, and they closed the gate. Why is LA evacuated? Like,
Also, just like whatever the case, like that, those streets are pristine. Other than
Beautiful.
those 2 misplaced vehicles, there's no track. It looks better than normal day LA.
yeah, I was gonna say,
it's like,
I
we're supposed to
did
be
not-
post evacuation.
I did not see a single like Snickers bar wrapper or Gatorade bottle or, you know, cigarette butt or anything.
You want me to believe the place most notorious for its traffic doesn't have any traffic as everyone's trying to get out at the same time?
Look, the movie itself.
Yeah, from what? Away from what?
Yeah.
I'm still confused where they came from in the first place because the gate was not open. We just opened the gate.
So we know one came out of the gold box on the boat.
Yeah, but that's one.
That's
there were,
one.
Like,
That is
so
one.
many. There were so many monsters, right? It wasn't just one monster for all the
one
buttrock
point,
montage.
At one point, it felt like there were hundreds of them.
Right? Right?
There were 60 or 70 713 soldiers, all with the right daylight radiated ammunition. They had all sorts of fun shit going on, plenty of weaponry, and they got overrun real fast. And they were taking them out hard. Yeah, they were taking them out pretty quick.
Because there are times where it seems like it's not doing any damage, like the monsters are invulnerable, and then you have the scene like Soul Patch guy when he's the last one left. I think, is it him? I don't even know. There's a guy that's like minding the van.
That's him.
And
yeah,
it cuts to him, and he's just like tearing one up with his like by himself, and he takes it down. So like, okay, so they are knocking these things out. There's just that many of them.
So
they're being overwhelmed.
Fisher, whatever. He made the daylight irradiated bullets that he gives to Christian Slater. So you would assume they all have those daylight irradiated bullets.
And it seems like they do. It just seems like there are that many monsters.
And yeah, and Fish even says like these will cut through these monsters like butter. Like it's not a problem.
Because if it were one or just a couple, a handful, it would mean like, oh, their weapons aren't doing anything, right? Because the monsters are surviving because they're hitting their target. I guess it's just, is it really just another example of, I mentioned like reacting to the event before it happens, grabbing your chest before the knife has even pierced you, dropping your weapon before you're told to.
Sure.
So like, oh, we just got the monsters out before we open the gate, and I don't know.
No one's gonna fucking notice. It's too action packed. That seems like a Uwe Boll reaction. Like, this is so much testosterone and action and gunplay and monsters getting fucking killed. No one's gonna care about the plot. That's a Uwe Boll reaction.
Yeah, I'm just looking like we are well under our normal time for like, I'm looking at like as we're recording here today, well under our normal time that it takes to cover a feature film. This is an hour and 36 minutes?
Yeah.
Hour and 36 minutes. And there's not much to say because, like, Jesus Christ, it feels like half of the movie is just gunfire.
Yeah, it really feels that way.
There's like, we talked about like Aline and Carnby, and I'm just like, did we miss anything with it? No, we covered like every interaction they have.
Yeah,
we covered every interaction between like Burke and there's nothing here. But what is here? Yeah, I liked it better than Blood Rain because, like, again, there were a couple of things that were just so goofy. I couldn't help but laugh, It was funny. It was funny, just like these just outlandish, like, cuts to just bullet time and, like, bullet perspective camera, Why? It just because he just felt like doing it. He had some extra money in the budget.
There's a sick, twisted, masochistic part of me that wants to rewatch Blood Rain to see if I would prefer it to this, because I think it's close. I think this may be the worst film I've ever seen.
You think this is the worst, huh?
I really think it may be. Blood Rain had the fun of Ben Kingsley and
he didn't bring any fun.
Billy Zane.
Was he fun?
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. You had Billy Zane. Yeah, you did.
This had Steven Dorff.
Mm-hmm.
So like both films had one fun actor making fun choices.
That's a tough man.
At least Blood Rain had Meatloaf. Like,
yeah,
Blood Rain to me was more comical than this film.
See, I found this more comical, but
I thought Uwe Boll actually tried with this movie, and that's what made it so sad for me.
Okay, I see your Meatloaf, and I raise you a Nightwish because the best moment in this entire movie is when we cut to credits, and it's Nightwish. I wish I had an angel. One of my all-time favorite bands. Badass.
That is a very good song. That is a very good song. Yeah.
Points. Yeah. Anyway, I'd rather watch either one than The Christmas Prince, I think.
This was my Christmas Prince.
Yeah.
In comparison to you, I think. So what I would like to do now, if you're okay with it, is I feel so fucking bad about this movie and just what we had to put ourselves through. Do you guys just want to come to a corner with me and cry a little? Maybe I can tell you some stories.
Is it dark?
We won't be alone. We won't be alone though. No.
Together in the dark, together in the light. We got to stay in the light. The monsters can't, unless they can. Sometimes they can come into the light. Trivia. Here we go.
So mad about that. I know stuff. Hi guys, welcome to the saddest version of Bo's Trivia Corner, because this movie was dog shit. Brandon, I'm gonna let you lead the way with this one with a single question. Do you want trivia that will help you understand the movie a little bit better, or do you want one that's just absolute insanity?
When you say understand, is it going to answer any of my specific questions?
Possibly. Maybe not about
I gotta know.
Maybe not about the story, but definitely about the movie itself.
Well, I don't know. Seek first to understand.
The lengthy opening text crawl, that the minute and a half long Connie shit, was only added after 100% of test audiences said they were confused by the plot of this film.
I see. That explains why they were doing double dipping on the lore.
Yeah. This one's less important, but I like it a lot because I think it's very funny. Every piece of body armor worn by soldiers are actually just paintball body protection.
That's really funny because I remember at one point thinking, like, what is that body armor? It looks so... Yep, that's why. Okay. Okay, and this... Nope, I'm saving this one. I'm saving this one because it is the most Uwe Boll fucking shit ever. So, this is kind of a two-parter. This movie
as we have discussed, is very loosely based on the video game series, right? Most of the plot elements and characters are taken from Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare.
Yeah, that tracks.
However, Blair Erickson had initially written a draft for this movie based on the original video game from 1992.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost immediately rejected by Uwe Boll. Then he decided to make his own script that had nothing to do with the video games except for character names.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Did you see that there is a sequel?
I did, because I watched this on Tubi. I wasn't paying for this shit. And that was also available on Tubi. To be or not to be? Not to be.
This is not necessarily just a trivia corner thing. I just think it's very funny. They replaced Christian Slater in the second film.
They replaced everybody. This is not a Uwe Boll joint, right?
It is not. They replaced the very, very white Christian Slater with Rick Yoon. So they're like, we're going to make you play the same character, except we're going to make you Asian now.
Okay.
It's fine. You have the same name. You have the same plot. You have the same characterization, the whole kit and caboodle. But your ethnicity and your age is entirely changed.
Is everything the same? Is it do you know? Is it a continuation of this story?
Supposed to be.
I'm sort of morbidly curious. I couldn't help myself because like I said, I watched it by way of Tubi, and they have not only the second one, they have all the Blood Rain movies on there.
Oh no.
And a bunch of other Uwe Boll movies as well. And no, I'm never going to watch the original Blood Rain again. But I can't help myself wondering about the sequels.
I'm more curious about
better.
the sequel to Alone in the Dark. One, because it's not directed by Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if there is a marked difference in direction.
The world may never know.
So my last little trivia tidbit is maybe okay. So we're not doing reviews this episode. We're not going deep into Uwe Boll's shit again because we've seen it. We've seen all of his bullshit that he has to say.
Right. For interested parties, just check out our Blood Rain episode. We do a deep dive, a thorough examination of Uwe Boll the man.
We do. And this trivia tidbit I found is possibly the most Uwe Boll thing I could have found.
Oh boy.
It's a little long, so bear with me. Tara Reid had a no nudity clause in her contract at the time of production and made it clear to the director, our friend Uwe Boll, that she will not show any nudity for the film. He tried to change her mind and pressure her to get nude for a now deleted sex scene between her and Christian Slater anyway, and she continued to refuse, which caused friction between the two of them for the rest of production.
What a piece of shit.
Gets better. On the DVD and Blu-ray commentary, Boll remarked about how he wished he would have gotten a European actress for the part instead, as they're not so uptight about getting nude for movies. What an absolute piece of shit. No, okay, I will say this right now. I did not enjoy Tara Reid's portrayal of her character.
I was just about to ask, why did he go with Tara Reid anyway? She
Initially,
was barely in the movie.
Well, so initially, and this is just a little continuation of our favorite corner, initially he wanted Christian Bale and Jessica Alba, which would have been just as uninteresting for me.
Yeah.
I do not understand why he got Tara Reid. After the film had come out, he says several times that he wished he would have gotten a different actress than Tara Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as much as I hate to say it, I get it. Tara Reid at that time in her career, and I mean, fuck, even now, she is only known for portraying a certain type of character, and she portrays it well, and she kills it every time she portrays that character with whatever, little minutia or semblances of differences that she needs to portray.
But the character is not one who catalogs archaeological finds.
No, nor is a linguistic specialist for Abkhani fucking carvings and shit.
You have to imagine he was aware of that clause. Why did he, you know what I mean?
Just the idea of someone, maybe I'm naive because I'm not in the entertainment industry at all.
Yeah.
But just the idea of someone knowing someone has a clause and a preference on how they are seen and portrayed on film, and then walking up and being like, come on, just go ahead and
it's disgusting.
Just go ahead and take off your shirt. Whatever. It's fine. Everybody's going to do it. Like, that's so gross to me.
Yeah, it's just awful predatory behavior. And that's, again, I just keep coming back to, like, why would he even put himself in that position? Like, he knows what he wants. He wants explosions and blood and gore and boobs. Like, after watching Blood Rain, like, that's what he likes. He says it outright, right? That's what he likes in his movies. We read his Letterboxd reviews. 5 stars to the movie. Why? Tits, Like, that's who he is. So why would you sign an actress when you know she's not going to do nudity for you?
And then I don't know. Bitch about it after the fact.
Just, maybe we should stop seeking to understand what should not, cannot, will not be understood.
The Uwe Boll rolls uphill or something. I don't know.
So how long until House of the Dead? Is that next on the
I mean, honestly, we'll probably cover it next year.
Yeah, we probably will. I don't think we've seen the last of
no.
Mr. Uwe Boll.
I sincerely hope we get something better than this one, though, man. Like, just give me more Billy Zane. If you could give me a Uwe Boll movie that just had Billy Zane and Stephen Dorff, and maybe even a little bit of Christian Slater or Ben Kingsley in it, and their characters, I'd be willing to check it out. Maybe some real drunk Michael Madsden from Blood Rain riding a horse and then falling off of it.
Now I'm trying to figure out, did I laugh more at Michael Madsen's drunken, half asleep horse riding, or, I don't know, Lionel Hudgens grasping his chest in agony half a second before the knife entered him? Yeah, man, I'll get back to you.
I don't know, man. Just I was with the trivia corner thing. I was gonna pull up all the kind of goof 'em ups and continuity order mishaps and stuff they had. Like,
yeah,
at one
they left
point,
all those on screen, didn't they?
They really did. At one point, someone who is dead, they're walking away from her, and she goes ahead and like lifts her head up because the shot's over. She thinks the camera's off of her, so she just goes ahead and like gets up and goes to get fucking craft services or whatever. Like,
oh man, I missed that one.
It's a whole bucket full of
bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit.
But the good news is, this movie sucked. Not sourcing. I can't imagine like seeing this movie and wanting to know more about the source material. I really can't. 2 thumbs down, 2 sources off, unsourced, down, bad. Stay away. But, spoiler alert, I'll just say this. Game is not bad.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I had a good time. We'll get into it next episode. Next episode, I mean, I got good things to talk about. Hope you do too. I really am looking forward to it after this absolute baby diaper full of bullshit. Yeah. So for listeners, I mean, I hope you didn't watch along, but you can play along. You can play along with us. 2 weeks we'll be back, and we'll be talking about Alone in the Dark, the remake, the new game, just out. And with that comes our normal housekeeping. We've got, well, shit. You can talk to us anywhere at Source Not Found Podcast. Drop us an email at sourcenotfoundpod@gmail.com. We love to hear what you think. Did you watch this movie? Please say no. Do you want to know more about the movie, or are you curious about the entire franchise and why it went in this direction? Drop us a line. Let us know.
We're on Facebook, Instagram. I mean, those are the big ones, really. We got, our Patreon. For those of you that are curious, last month we took a deep dive into some Beetlejuice stuff for my birthday. It was a really good time.
It was.
You can hear all about some Busey juice. Yeah, no, I shiver.
I'm doing a full body shut over here, and I'm even the source of that disgusting combination of words. Even I can't stomach it.
I shivered just saying it. But that would be look for us on Patreon at Source Not Found Podcast. Brandon, what is going on Twitch?
So I mentioned it. I did a run through in the lead up to the game. Played through 3.5 All in the Dark games. Played through the most recent game as well on stream. I am now freed from Alone in the Dark for a while. I still want to get to that second disc of New Nightmare. And there's the 2008 game, but I don't know, maybe spooky season. I'll swing back around to it. For now, I'm just freed up, man. I'm freed up wherever the wind takes me. There are a couple games just came out. I'm eyeing Rise of the Ronin. I'm eyeing Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm going to get into something here. Just come on by and see what I'm doing. I haven't really decided yet.
I'm very excited to stop by and see what's going on. And that is at Lejunebug. You want to spell that for him?
LEJEUNEBUG. Link down in the show notes.
Beautiful.
Come on by. We'd love to see you.
So yeah, guys, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed everything. Drop us a line if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to say hi. And for the next couple of weeks, make sure you check your toilets for any Freddy Kruegers and watch out for any white vans with clowns in them.
Stay studying. Newfoundland?